sunlit days, but felt a tremor fine and thin. The space where cold was seeping in.
Yeah, I walked on eggshells, held my breath, scared to death of what came next. A misplaced word, a heavy touch, always felt like it was too much. We put it on a pedestal, pretended it was unbreakable, but I saw the line behind your eyes, the quiet truth in our goodbyes.
No, we were beautiful and thin. Let the tiny fractures in. Just watch the porcelain cracks appear, and pretended not to feel the fear of fragile love we couldn't mend. A beautiful and bitter end. Now every fragile thing I see holds a piece of you and me. The window pane, the rain has hit. The way a silent promise split the space between what's whole and torn. A silent warning, softly worn.
I tried to glue the pieces back, but you can always see the track, the ghost of what it used to be, a perfect flaw for all to see. Should've kept it on the shelf instead of trying to blame myself. It was always meant to fall apart, a delicate and broken work of art.
Maybe some things aren't meant to hold, a story better left untold. Too precious for an unsteady hand.
Too delicate to understand.
And oh, we were beautiful and thin. Let the tiny fractures in. Just watch the porcelain cracks appear, and pretended not to feel the fear of fragile love we couldn't mend. A beautiful and bitter end.
Just a spider web of us, collecting dust. Shake it out. Watch the color bloom.
A faded square of pastel sky, the frozen look inside your eye. The sun was warm upon my skin. Don't remember where we've been. Just a glossy plastic film. The quiet has me overwhelmed.
Yeah. I remember that afternoon, the borrowed light inside the room. You said just smile, so I played the part with a crowded mind and a heavy heart. Click of the shutter, flash of the white, trapped a perfect pretty lie. Hope the chemicals could fix the scene, make it look like what we could have been.
We're just Polaroid ghosts in a shoebox now. A faded smile, a silent vow. Developed slow and faded fast. A moment never meant to last. A chemical burn, a forgotten art. A perfect picture of a world apart.
My hair was longer, you look so young. The words we needed left unsung. This person here I used to know. Watching the memories start to snow. The corners curl, the colors bend. A story that has reached the end. I keep it tucked inside a book, scared to take a second look. Cause in the space around the frame, I can almost hear you say my name. It's proof that we were standing there, just breathing in the empty air and waiting for the image clear to show us everything we fear.
Shake it, let it dry. A perfect moment, a goodbye.
The colors shift,
The image burns, a lesson that nobody learned. We're just Polaroid ghosts in a shoebox now. A faded smile, a Remember when the sky bled gold, the stories we left untold. We'd map the city with our eyes, see our whole lives in its rise. Now every street looks monochrome, a stranger's echo in my home. The colors blurred, the lines aren't clear, just broken shapes to hold so
dear. You see the light, I see the cracks on all the promises we couldn't patch. We built a world on fragile ground, lost more than we ever found. You framed the past in a perfect frame, but every piece screams out my name. We swore at last, a solid thing, but all I hear is the breaking ring.
Our stained glass memories, they're beautiful but incomplete. A silent film of what we were, distorted light, a final blur.
The broken shards are all we own, a fractured story, overgrown. We trace the lines of what went wrong and fractured.
Half-remembered song. I tried to glue the edges down in this silent, empty town. I laid the pieces on the floor and knew they wouldn't fit no more. That morning sun, a different shade on promises we never made. I see your smile, just a fleeting flash, a memory turned to ash.
I used to think that pain was gold, a lesson learned, a story told. But this ain't gold, it's just the rust of fragile promises turned to dust. We stared through windows we both broke, believing every lie we spoke. I see the picture but the glass is gone, and I'm just standing in the dawn.
They were a cathedral of a love so tall.
But we were built to fall.
We stood inside the colored light and knew we couldn't win the fight. We watched the colors fade to gray, just walk the other way.
Our stained glass memories, they're beautiful but incomplete. A silent film of what we were, distorted light, a final blur. The broken shards are all we own, a fractured story, overgrown. We trace the lines of what went wrong and hum our final broken song.
So beautiful and gone. The city sleeps, the moon is pale. I'm tracing patterns on the windowsill. I thought our line was always clear. Now all I hear is my own fear. We used to talk until the dawn. Now I don't know what frequency you're on. Just hollow space and passing cars, and counting all these lonely stars.
Yeah, I let the silence get too loud, head in the smoke, lost in the crowd. We were broadcasting on different bands with broken mics held in our hands. Every I'm fine was just a hiss, a prelude to a goodbye kiss. I should have cut through all the noise, instead I lost the sound of your voice.
Midnight static on the line, a ghost of your voice mixed with mine.
We're lost in transmission, faded out, a love consumed by
Burnt out, the space between us filled with snow, a broken signal from long ago.
just midnight static, soft and low.
I still remember that one drive. The car radio was so alive. You sang along, a perfect sound. the clearest signal I had found. I try to tune back to that place to see the starlight on your face, but the station's gone, it's just a hum. My heart is deaf, my voice is numb.
I twisted dials, I tried to tune beneath the cold and empty moon. I sent out signals weak and fast, a desperate message not meant to last, but every word just got distorted. My good intentions got contorted into another layer of the fuzz that's covering who we really was.
Maybe if I just stay quiet,
I can almost hear you through the riot.
but it's not you, it's just the sound of silence spinning round and round. The line went dead, we have to know it's time to finally let it go. Just midnight star on the line, a ghost of your voice mixed with mine. We're lost in transmission, fading out. A love consumed by whispered doubt.
The space between us filled with snow, a broken signal from long ago.
Just midnight static. Let it go. I thought I heard you. Sound of static. I'm sorry, a little too late. I remember when the cracks began, a tremor just beyond our plan. You bring me words like fragile things, the empty promises love brings, polished smooth and painted white to hide the dark inside the light, and I collect them one by one. Another day we'd outrun.
Yeah, I gave you pieces of a lie, each one a new excuse for why. I'd say the words you needed heard, but never meant a single word. They stacked up tall, a hollow wall, a house of cards built just to fall. And when the silence got too tight, I break another one at night.
A porcelain apologies are scattered in the winter breeze, too delicate to ever hold. A broken story bought and sold.
We try to fix the shattered lines with pretty words and broken signs, the beautiful brittle things we said, lying on the floor instead.
I used to think that we could mend, just glue the pieces till the end. I learned to walk around the mess, to save our hearts from more distress. But every time I saw your face, I saw the cracks, I knew my place. Just a keeper of the shards, playing a losing game of cards.
I tell you we're okay, it's fine. A hollow phrase, a fading sign. I look at you and see the pain like cracks that show up in the rain. And all my words were just a sound, just breaking on the silent ground. I should have built you something strong. Instead I built a brand new wrong.
We could never put it back together.
'Cause we were just a beautiful lie in stormy weather.
We stood in silence, saw the dust, and knew the words meant more than trust. The final piece was never said, just walked away and left it dead. Our porcelain apologies are scattered in the winter breeze, too delicate to ever hold. A broken story bought and sold.
We try to fix the shattered lines with pretty silence is deafening.
We had a plan, didn't we? The winter sun is in my eyes. Another Saturday drifts by. I found the napkin in a book and couldn't stop myself. I looked, the lines we drew in faded ink, the house, the porch, the kitchen sink, a future sketched in hopeful blue, when every line led back to you.
Yeah, I remember drawing lines, ignoring all the warning signs. The foundation had a crack or two that I kept hidden from your view. Each little lie, a drop of rain that blurred the ink and caused a stain. I was the architect of doubt and let the corners weather out.
We're staring at a faded blueprint, a ghost of a life we never spent. The careful plans are torn and creased, a silent, bittersweet release.
We can't build it, can't erase the empty lines in this empty space. Just a folded map of what could be for only you and I to see.
I see the window for the rain, the little mark that hid the pain, the garden where we'd plant the rose. I guess that's just how the story goes. You were the home I tried to build, a promise that was unfulfilled. The person in this drawing here is someone who's been gone a year.
I drive past streets and see the frame of houses that all look the same as the one we dreamed we'd own someday, before the colors bled to gray. I'm trying to draw a different map, but I keep falling in the trap of tracing lines I used to know to a place we can no longer go.
It was only ever paper thin.
The dream we let the weather in,
We never broke the sacred ground
just like the hopeful, hollow sound
of building castles in the air and pretending that we didn't care. We're staring at a faded blueprint, a ghost of a life we never spent. The careful plans are torn and creased, a silent, bittersweet release.
We can't build it, can't erase the empty lines in this empty space. Just a folded map of what could be, a beautiful lost memory.
Just lines on a page.
Fading away.
Sound of a distant rumble of thunder.
It's not supposed to rain today.
The sky is blue, the sun is out. There's not a single wisp of doubt. On the news they said it's clear, the perfect day, a perfect year. But I can feel the pressure drop and every happy thought just stop. The wind is picking up in here and the atmosphere is thick with fear.
Yeah, on On the surface it's a calm, a quiet before the coming storm. We talk about the little things, but never what the silence brings. I feel a cold from moving in, right where your tired smile has been. The lightning flashes in my head on all the things we never said.
Inside has nowhere left to hide. A quiet thunder, distant rain, a hurricane of silent pain.
We stand here in the perfect sun and watch the dark clouds start to run. We built a storm in our own room, a forecast of a coming doom. I remember when the sun would shine and every day felt so aligned. We walked barefoot on the ground, never worried, never drowned. I'm trying to find that climate now, but every memory tells me how. The sky just turned a sudden gray and we just looked the other way.
I'm the weatherman who saw the signs, the broken forecast and the lines. I saw the front, I felt the breeze, but didn't want to talk to ease the coming damage on the shore of a home we don't live in no more. I guess I thought that if I lied, the rain would just stay on the inside.
We're both just standing in our own rain.
Can't see the tears,
Can't feel the pain. This quiet storm, it has no sound, just washes everything we found and leaves us cold and left alone on a perfect day built of stone.
The weather inside has nowhere left to hide. A quiet thunder, distant rain, a hurricane of silent pain.
We stand here in the perfect sun and watch the dark clouds start to run. We built a storm in our own room, a final forecast of our doom.
The calm before, the calm after, and the rain keeps falling down.
The scent of wet pavement,
just a single light post.
I walk the lane where we would meet, the empty side of the street. Your shadow used to fall right there. Now there's just a chilly air.
The light pole hums a quiet tune beneath the tired silver moon.
Yeah. I remember pulling in, the engine off, the night begins. The quiet talks we share for hours, hiding in those simple powers, just existing side by side, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. From all the silence we had built, a subtle slow and knowing guilt. We watched the headlights pass us by, beneath that lonely concrete sky.
And don't we cross that line between the rain and the light, a perfect moment held too tight.
Now there's just an empty space where your car used to be, just a ghost of a memory.
The city breathes a quiet sigh on the empty side of the street tonight. I found the cracked stone on the curb, a small detail, a silent word, the same one that would scuff my shoe when I was still right there with you.
It doesn't look the same somehow. It's just a stone, it's nothing now.
And I can still hear the car door click, the sound that feels like a fading trick. The last time that you turned to look, a chapter from a fragile book. I could have stayed and pulled you close, instead I let the silence grow. Just let the headlights sweep the road, beneath the weight of every code. I didn't break but should have bent on the last night that we spent.
Maybe we were always two
Parallel paths,
a hazy view,
always a space between our names.
just a distant fading flame. Now we're both alone, complete
On the empty side of the street.
and oh, we crossed that line between the rain and the light, a perfect moment held too tight.
Now there's just an empty space where your car used to be, just a ghost of a memory.
The city breathes a quiet sigh on the empty side of the street tonight.
Just a silence.
And the light
Fading out.
The scent of old paper. A moment trapped in time.
I find them in a quiet drawer, beneath the things I need no more. The edges curl, the colors bleed, a little patch of sunlit weed, fuzzy smiles and half-shut eyes, a distant and familiar guise, just a ghost on chemical film, stuck in a moment strangely still.
Yeah, I can see that day so clear, the way the wind would pull your hair. That small laugh when the lens would flash, a memory that's built to last. Or so we thought, looking back now, the sun was bright, the sky was a vow to something we could not define. Just two kids on a different line, I can still feel your hand in mine, stuck in that frame of perfect sign.
Oh, we were frozen in a perfect past, a happiness that couldn't last, just faded Polaroids on the floor. They don't look like us anymore, just a blur of what used to be, a bittersweet and still memory.
I trace the faded outline of your hand on my shoulder, a story that's only getting older. The way the light fell on your face, a forgotten time, a silent place. I wonder if you see the same when you hear the sound of your own name.
I traced the lines a smile would make, just for the photo, just a fake.
I remember thinking this is real, but time reveals what you should feel. Should've looked at you and not the lens, just tried to make a new amends, with all the unspoken things we'd say for a future that we never gave.
We were trying to hold on to the light, a promise whispered in the night, but paper fades and ink will run underneath a different sun, and we're left with nothing left to say, just these moments that we threw away. And oh, we were frozen in a perfect past, a happiness that couldn't last, just faded Polaroids on the floor. They don't look like us anymore, just a blur of what used to be, a bittersweet and still memory.
Just a stack of squares and the quiet. Now they're gone.
Just the sound of my own footsteps in the silence. I walk the path we used to know, the space where all the lights hang low, Each step I take feels all alone, a different weight on every stone. I listen for a second sound, but nothing stirs on this ground. Just a hollow, quiet pace in this empty, borrowed space.
Yeah, I remember walking slow with you beneath that yellow glow. The sound of our shoes on the pavement, a subtle kind of shared arrangement. We talk of futures and of then, and every sound would feel like 10. I swore I could hear your heartbeat above the lonely, quiet street. It's a cracked concrete echo, a sound we can't erase, a whispered thought in this
Empty place.
We listen for a voice we used to know, and all we hear is silence now, a silent, lonely shore.
Just a ghost of a laughter, a faint and distant sigh beneath the lonely concrete sky. I found a fissure in the ground where a single street lamp cast its shroud. It wasn't there the last time, the end of a perfect fragile rhyme. It looks just like a jagged line, a simple broken stark design.
And I recall that final night, the way you turned and faced the light, the space that fell between us then, the sound of silence starting when we knew the words we had to say, but left them hanging in the gray. Now that silence is the sound that echoes back from this ground.
We built a quiet home on flaws and never thought to make new laws. We left the cracks to grow so deep while our hearts were half asleep. And now the broken ground just tells the story of our fading shell.
It's a cracked concrete echo, a sound we can't erase, a whispered thought in this empty place. We listen for a voice we used to know, and all we hear is silence now, a silent, lonely shore.
Just a ghost of a laughter, a faint and distant sigh beneath the lonely concrete sky. Just the echo. And the cracks. And the quiet. A single page turned down, a story left unfinished. You left a book beside my bed, a silent story left unread. The cover's soft, the spine is whole, a different ending for my soul. I look at all the pages blank, a story that forever sank with everything we didn't say when the words were thrown away.
Yeah, I can see the dust you left behind on the cover of a different kind of a life we're supposed to make. For every promise we would break, we wrote the margins full of lies, avoided all the sudden cries. We never turned the final page, just left our story on the stage.
And oh, we were an unread book on a shelf, a story that we kept to ourselves. We left the ending up to fate. It's a silence filled with hollow weight, just a promise in a beautiful
trace the lines along the spine, a simple, perfect, quiet design. The chapters we were meant to share, just empty spaces on the air. I hear your voice inside my head, a silent thought, a final dread.
I can still feel that heavy air, the final chapter we would share. We both just turned our faces slow, cause that was all we had to show. We never said the words out loud, just wrapped our pain up in a shroud. We closed the book and walked away on a perfect, quiet, silent day. Maybe some stories aren't complete, just a bittersweet and soft defeat. A single line we couldn't write, lost in the quiet of the night, with just a promise on a page, stuck in a forgotten stage. And oh, we were an unread book on the shelf, a story that we kept to ourselves. We left the ending up to fate. It's a silence filled with hollow weight, just a promise in a beautiful disguise, reflected in our tired eyes. The last page turned, and the story ends.
A single lens left open, just a slow fade to white. I found that photo in a frame, a different night, a different name. You're just a blur against the light, a perfect ghost of a silhouette. The long exposure of a love, a perfect thing we can't speak of, just a faint and distant streak, a silent promise we were weak.
Yeah, I can see the headlights blur. The rain would make the city stir. We were running through the night, just a streak of fading light. We thought the moments would stand still, but time moved on against our will. I tried to hold on to your face, but left it blurred in time and space. We were a long exposure of a love that didn't stay, just a ghost of a memory that fades away.
The stillness of the background tells the truth, that we were always moving, losing our youth. A perfect image, beautifully flawed, a moment held, then disavowed.
The light post stayed, the bench was still, the quiet air, the gentle chill. Everything that wasn't us is clear and sharp and free of dust, but our shadows intertwine to blur the time left far behind. I should've stopped the endless pace and looked you in your perfect face. Instead I let the moments run beneath the tide fading sun. I tried to capture it all, but ended up just watching it fall into a blur I can't define, an empty moment that was mine.
Maybe some things aren't meant to be clear.
Just a soft and gentle, bittersweet tear,
The beauty was in how we moved so fast.
a fleeting image built to not last. We were a long exposure of a love that didn't stay, just a ghost of a memory that fades away.
The stillness of the background tells the truth, that we were always moving, losing our youth. A perfect image, beautifully flawed, a moment held, then disavowed. Just a blur, and the silence fading out.